Welcome to the wild side. I'm wearing my new Christmas flannel. It's wool. And a little bit late. Things are always mixed up around here. But I got everything done, so that's nice. The dogs are fed. I'm fed. I had to go grab my coffee grinder, and it's my coffee grinder's giving me trouble, and that is why, disorganization is why I'm late. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just letting you know what life is like around here. Disorganized chaos is the short answer. Did you get it back, Casey? Thanks for replying. Thanks for letting me know. Is it back? Audio? Uh-oh. Maybe not. Is the audio working? Oh, good. Okay. Can barely hear me. Okay, let me check. How's this one? Any better? Shoot. Probably. Is that any better? Any better? No. Okay, is that better? That's probably better. Shoot. Still, I just disconnected the microphones. Went on the main unit. Shoot. Okay, right now I'm on the phone. Okay. So the phone's working. Okay. Thank you, guys. Darn. I wonder. It was for a second. What do you mean it was for a second, Jennifer? Yes. I need complete sentences. Loud and clear. Phone is good. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, good. We're going to kick it off with my second cup of coffee. I always have 2 cups of coffee, and this morning I was running behind. But this also means I have to talk at the camera. With the microphone I can move, but obviously the microphone's not working. So, first things first, I'm going to get my coffee going. And Brody, if you're on here, Casey is the fur trade reenactor. I'm trying to resist getting into other eras of reenacting. I'm trying to focus on the 1870s because that goes along with the movie that I'm making, which I'm really excited about and is progressing well. But the fur trade era is something I've always had an interest in. And Will Emmerich started a really good group, so it's in my face that way. Met a new guy who's going at it the right way, so that's all this fur trade era stuff in my face, and it's hard to not try to work on some buckskin outfit and buy a flintlock. But for those people who know about reenacting, the problem with reenacting is there's just no end to it, no matter how much you do. So that's why I'm trying to just stay focused. All right, I got my boiling water. It was about to boil out. For those of you who are new to the show but like coffee, I use a AeroPress. It's kind of like espresso. That's why I like it. And for those of you who are new to new to the channel, this is a channel that's partially about how I live and partially about Old West history and whatever comments come up. So, and it's also Christmas time. That's why I bought this flannel. It's supposed to be my Christmas flannel. But I took a month of not thinking I would buy it because I wanted to save money. And then finally the price dropped and I bought it for like $20 with shipping. And it's wool. You got to be careful buying wool because like there was another one that was very similar, different brand, but almost exactly like it that I was looking at. Oh, and it's the thing about it is it's quilted. However, once I got it, it's like there's no quilting in there, but still it's an extra layer. Anyway, there was another one just like it, same price, but it was like 55% wool or 65%, but it looks the same. So you got to be careful buying wool. I mean, it's all a blend. This one's 85%, and honestly, that's the best you can get in America, unless you buy something old. But even the military was blending it. I think in World War II, even they were blending their wool. Because fact is, when you're active, you don't need pure wool. I just want pure wool because I want the natural materials and not synthetic. So anyway, that's the story on this wool shirt. It fits better than that red one I was wearing, but that red one's really cool too. I just love wool clothing. And I can't find any good trousers. All right, coffee time. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Oh, you got Aran Island wool. Okay, yeah, that stuff's probably the good stuff. Did you get it off Etsy or... I've been shopping Etsy, but I've been hesitant to buy from Etsy because I don't know. I know that there's a lot of restrictions out of England right now. And so I don't know if my stuff's going to get held up, but I think people are getting it. Your Guernsey rock is new. What is that, Casey? You're not talking a capote. Craig Curtis says, hey, good morning, Craig. God bless Texas. Says it looks like a good guy. Well, the thing about the white hats, now, I mean, this is a modern style brim, obviously, but it's got my wild side trademark, non-trademarked crown style. The white hats were the hat of the 1880s cowboy. So there's something Hollywood kind of got right in a bad way. Hey, Han from Finland, howdy, good morning. Stephen Sheets, hey, good morning. And Royce and Jennifer, good morning, everybody. Whew. All right, I'm going to have some coffee here in a second, but first I got to get my heavy whipping cream. I got to open the door. It's pretty dang hot in here already. All right. Can't talk while I do other stuff. Stormy in Finland. Is it cold and snowy? It's kind of cold here, but well, actually the sun's shining now. Earlier it was just kind of gloomy. Starting to get into that part of winter where it's not very fun. Casey lives in Idaho. He says wool is a must here with how wet it is. Oh, you got it off their website. Shockingly cheap for what it is. Guernsey sweater. Oh, Guernsey sweater. Oh, yeah, please do. Wow. Huh. Interesting. Thanks, Casey. Doing some dishes. Good morning, Scottish Duncan. We were talking about wool, and if you're in Scotland, I don't remember, you've probably got access to real wool. I just bought this shirt. It's 85% wool, and that's the best we can do in America. That's the summary of what we were talking about for wool. Oh, Scottish Duncan. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you are now. And the San Bernardino Mountains, California, it's 34 currently. Some pretty cool snow at the peaks. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, hey, Brody. The screen name threw me off. That's awesome. Casey, Scottish Duncan there is the guy who's, you've probably talked to him. You've seen him on Facebook. 34. Yeah, I don't think of Southern California as hitting 34 and having enough snow to make to do shoveling and stuff. So that's cool. I haven't mapped it yet. Those lakes and areas that you sent me. Snowed today. So Han is in Finland and he's barely getting any snow. That's disappointing. The Christmas side of me likes to believe that there's places where it snows every year and everybody's riding sleighs and with sleigh bells ringing. I've still got my Christmas decorations up and my lights that go off in the daytime. They look nice at night. And I don't know, I guess the Christmas spirit's kind of dwindled for me. And I'm just focused on my movie making. I've got a course that I'm doing now to help me stay focused, and it's really working. So I'm just kind of already focused on that. I'm pretty excited because I'm shooting my movie in June. And I'm going to do a 5-minute short film. Maybe it'll be 10. I don't know. The goal is to make a practice film, but it'll be the same character from my short film. And it's just going to be like a prequel that's totally unrelated. Hey, Dead Wolf Resistance, welcome. Good morning. This is Royce. We had an eagle fly over the house the other day. Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah. So here we are. Here we are in the dead of winter now. Christmas season is coming to an end. And wintertime is fun for me when it's cold and snowy. But what we get here a lot is just this maybe dips into freezing temps at night. And then in the daytime, everything melts. And we've had enough snow and rain that everything's a mucky mess. And then it's overcast a lot of times. And it's just kind of gloomy, kind of like being in Seattle. No, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this is the kind of thing that drives me to Arizona. So there may be an Arizona trip coming up. Actually, there very likely is an Arizona trip because I've got a bad tooth that broke pieces off. And I got to go to Mexico to have it fixed. Because they wanted like $7,000 or $8,000 to do my dental work here in town. So I started Googling dental tourism. It's a thing. Dental tourism. And it's really common down in Mexico. And it's really common in Costa Rica. That's where I was going at first. But I think I can just drive down to Arizona and cross the border for a day and get her done. So that's what's going on. All right. Shoot, what's the stuff to talk about? Darn. Well, yeah, it's insane. I found out recently, guys, that the dental business in America is a scam. So they were doing a good job on me, and they only charged me $100 to go in and get checked out and do a cleaning. My teeth are cleaner than ever. And they told me what was wrong. They assessed my teeth and told me what was wrong and what I needed to do. And I was all on board and thinking, okay, no problem. I'll just schedule this when I'm done. I'm like, but why aren't they giving me like a ballpark of what this is going to cost? Well, that's a red flag. And then, so then it was over. They said, oh, you'll find out over at the desk. They'll talk to you about the pricing. So I'll wrap this up. I sat down at the desk. The girls weren't good at talking financially. Kind of a weird strategy. The gal that helped me was really good, and the doctor was really good. But then the two that they had talking about money, they sucked at it, for one. And I really got the vibe of sitting down talking to car salesmen, which I absolutely loathe car dealerships and all kinds of car salesmen. And that was the vibe I was getting. Like they told me here, if you join, because I'm paying cash, they say if you join our membership, you get 15% off. But then if you do this level, you get 25% off. And they're throwing all this information at you. And I'm fairly quick with math, so I could keep ahead of them. But the average person, you know, I know these techniques. They overwhelm you with information and numbers, and you got to make a quick decision. And I saw this, I'm thinking, why in the world are they so high pressure? And why do they have all these tricks unless it's a scam? And so I didn't know it was a scam. I just thought this is very questionable. So I told them, well, I'm going to have to think about it. And they didn't like that. So I left, started Googling around, and yeah, absolutely, it's a scam. You can go get your work done in many other countries. You can pay for a vacation and get the work done and pay less than you got to pay here in the States. So fortunately, I've listened to enough money things that I can pick up on the techniques right away. And that's pretty much how every industry in America has gone, where everything's a scam for money. Brody says, yeah, I had a full root canal and was waiting for my crown. My insurance denied the crown twice. It's been over a year. That temporary filling has fallen out. I let them know and it's still pending. Well, if you want to go to Yuma with me and do some dental tourism across the border, it's a lot cheaper. That's what I need. The primary thing that I need is a root canal and a crown. And I think it's going to be less than $1,000. I think it was 600, something like that. If you ever need cataract surgery, make sure you research that very complete as well. Yeah, all medical care. And then a good friend of mine from middle school, he was my closest friend. He just passed away a couple months ago because our hospital turned him away when he went in with pain, and they told him it was nothing. And no, that's what they've done to a lot of people. What they did with him was they said, oh yeah, we don't find anything, we'll check you for cancer, we'll give you an appointment. They never gave him an appointment. Finally, he called back and said he really needs an appointment, so they gave him one for 4 months later. They said, okay, here's your appointment in 4 months. And he passed away because of that. When he went in, because he then eventually found an a cancer center that does decent work, and that guy that was helping him at the cancer center, pretty much, had he been checked out when they first saw the signs that he needed to be checked out, they could have taken care of it. But because our hospital doesn't like doing their job, he passed away. And you can find on Facebook, there's posts about the hospital and then tons of stories that are very similar. One particular guy said he went in, he felt like he was about to die, and they just turned him away, said there was nothing wrong with him, maybe gave him some pills, and then so then he got checked out somewhere else for cancer, and a year later he's still being treated for it. And that's how our hospital just handles stuff. So anyway, that I'm going off on that because somebody said research cataract surgery, dead wolf resistance, and so yeah, basically you got to research everything in America. It's nuts, and which is also why all these people who want countries around the world to make the same money of America, they're just being tools for the corporations here in America. I lived in South Africa, guys. They don't need to make $5,000 a month like we need to make here in America. They just don't. There was a shoe factory where I was living down the road. There was a shoe factory. And me being brainwashed by society, I saw that and thought, oh, those guys are just taking advantage of all these poor people. But after I lived there for a while, I was there for almost a year, I started to realize, well, these poor people, they don't have anything to spend money on. They don't have to pay for housing like we do. And most of them don't have cars and car insurance and expensive gas. And so, and then I talked to this gal who really wanted a job there. And that rocked my world, because like I said, I was a brainwashed American thinking, oh, all these businesses overseas are robbing people. She said, yeah, I want a job there. I said, well, they don't pay much, do they? And she said, well, they pay $2 a day. I need that money, or I want that money. She was just sitting around. Otherwise, she had nothing to do. And so that's what it's so frustrating. All these people, these bleeding hearts, want everybody around the world to make the same money that Americans make. And it's like they don't understand cost of living. Everything's about percentages. Like I can live off of $1,500 a month easy. And yet, bleeding hearts, if I wasn't white, they would want me to make $5,000 a month. And anyway, a lot of people can't do math, and it is ruining our country. So anyway, the point is, all these corporations, they don't like it that the dental industry doesn't like it that we can go elsewhere and get it cheaper. So if all these other countries increase their prices, then there goes trade. I don't know. Anyway, that was nice little. Craig Curtis, needle nose pliers. That's for pulling a tooth. I need a crown. I can't drink anything cold or hot. Like I ate some ice cream, but I had to eat it on one side of my mouth because I pretty much don't feel pain. But for those of you who have never had tooth pain like this, I've never had. I've always had good teeth all my life. Never had any issues. But this pain, and I've got a pretty decent pain tolerance. This is horrendous. There's just nothing you can do. And so fortunately it wasn't too long till I figured out that it's hot and cold, because the pain was coming on like when I'd go to bed, and I didn't understand why. Well, it was because I brushed my teeth in really cold water. So now I heat my water up to brush my teeth, and my coffee's not super hot anyway, so super hot isn't really an issue for me, but the cold. So when I drink water, I always wonder, I hope it's not too cold. But the pain is horrific. But anyway, the point is I can live with it. I'm not getting a lot of pain if I'm careful. So anyway, hey, good morning, Chris, James. Thanks for joining. And we're talking about dental care and health care right now and all the scams that are going on in America. Daryl, good morning. We're talking about scams, financial scams. All right, I got to go back here. Needle nose pliers. I can't do a crown with needle nose pliers, but Ice Skate in a Rock. I haven't seen that movie for a while. I think you're talking about Castaway. But the problem, my issue, when you need a crown, the problem is an exposed exposed. What are those things that detect pain and tell our brains that we're feeling pain? Um, nerve, a nerve. It's an exposed nerve. That's what the issue is when you need a crown. Um, yeah. Dead Wolf Resistance. I needed a crown 2 years ago, close to $2,000. Yeah, that's nuts. Did you ever get it? Wind keeps blowing out the power. Wind sucks. We actually dealt with some wind here. High winds for us, but not as high as what you said you're dealing with last week. Last night it blew a little bit, but yeah, wind just sucks. I really dislike it. It could be a pleasant 25 degrees. It's not too bad when everything's cool and it's dry. And then the wind blows, suddenly hands are freezing. Yeah, I lived in South Africa, and a lot of them spoke English, but not all. So, like, they taught it in the schools, but the kids living at the orphanage had a big advantage because they got to talk English all the time, so they get to practice it. Nerves, thank you. Thanks, Casey. The nerve is completely exposed, so I eat on one side of my mouth. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing that hurt it. I bought some bolillo, the Mexican bread. Really like that stuff. And it got stuffed down into the gap. And because it was stuffed there and it wouldn't come out, that was irritating the nerve. So that's when the pain also came up. So, oh, you got the crown. That's good. Cool. Yeah, my problem is I've got like 3 or 4 teeth that are that have the gray. I learned a lot about dental work because I've never had the problem before, like I said, and so I learned a lot by talking to them. And yeah, I've got the bluish gray spots on a few of my other teeth, so they need to be drilled out and capped, and then the gum work where they go through and slice back all the bacteria on the gums, remove all the bacteria, and get you started out again. However, if you guys are interested, there's this gal, this doctor, who hates the dental industry, and she's an American, I believe, if I remember right. And she talks all about the best way to keep your teeth healthy. That involves things like xylitol, which sounds like a med, like meds, but it's I think if I'm saying it right, the xylitol, it's what comes naturally out of birch bark, and so it's a natural thing, despite the name. And she talks about using that like 16 times per day, which that part I wonder if it's a sales gimmick because she sells the gum, but it's not like overly priced, so I don't know. But anyway, and then she talks about brushing your teeth twice a day and the right kind of mouthwash to properly deal with your teeth. It's really fascinating if you're interested in taking care of your teeth without having to deal with medical stuff. So anyway, certainly didn't expect to talk about that. Xylitol is a Finnish invention. Oh yeah, well, according to her, the Native Americans were over here chewing on it. So I'm just playing. Finland, you guys must have like turned it into an actual medical thing. That's interesting. Very interesting. You Northern Europeans coming up with all kinds of advances that have shaped the history of America and Western civilization. Whew. Well, I should put some more firewood on. It's been so wet that a lot of my firewood is still kind of wet. So I bring it in to dry it. It doesn't take too long to dry out. And I've got this fantastic firewood. I've never burned ash before. Ash, it's either ash or mulberry. I don't know. I got it a couple years ago, so I forget which pile is which. Well, this one ain't either. Anyway, I've got this fantastic firewood, but I'm getting low on it. This is maple. And it's going to be sad to see it go. Because the difference of good wood and bad wood, I used to not care. But man, after burning all the time, you know, you really get to figuring out how it works. And I can have this place burning firewood, and I can't really get warm. Like I'm talking when I'm trying to warm the place up. And then I put in the right kind of firewood. Fortunately, elm is one of them. Elm burns hot. But you put in some ash or oak, and bam, all of a sudden you got the door open. And it's too hot to handle. Too cold to hold. So anyway, I love getting good firewood. And this year, a guy working for a tree cutting company kept my number. And so he would contact me. Said, hey, I need this out of here right now. So I got some really good, I got some, quite a bit of firewood this year. So hopefully he's still working for the company. He wasn't the most hardest worker, but he was a cool guy. We chatted quite a bit. And so hopefully he's still working for that company, and I can get tons of really good firewood next year. Yes, willow. Yeah, I figured out with willow and cottonwood, like I just ignored them for all these years, but I figured out it's nice to have the really hot stuff to get the fire started and warming up the cabin in the morning. And then it doesn't really matter if it burns fast, because if willow burns hot like it does, cottonwood burns really hot but fast, willow burns hot but fast. But it's great for getting the cabin warm right away and getting the other firewood burning. So I don't have any wood, willow and cottonwood right now, but I need to get some in the past, or in the future. In the past, I'd just totally ignore it and leave it. But y'all know that I do love cooking on cottonwood in the summertime because it dries quick. I've got a whole video on it. It dries quick, it breaks easy, and it burns hot. So I love cooking on it through the summer. And as long as you sit like 6 feet away, the heat doesn't matter. So Resistance, I just reloaded my wood stove 1 minute ago. Ash is my favorite. I'm cutting some ash today. Yeah, well, you have elm. I would bypass elm if I could, because it leaves so much ash. Like it leaves almost as much ash as a piece of firewood that you've put in to burn, that I put in to burn. But around here where we don't have that kind of wood, those hardwoods, I'm really happy to get elm. I am really grateful for the elm that I have. And it's free around here because nobody wants it. But you guys, Dead Wolf Resistance, down where you live, you're fortunate that you have all those hardwood options. Because even up in the forest, if I go out to cut firewood in the forest, first we hit all the pine, ponderosa pine, and that's not useful for firewood hardly at all, unless you're standing around a campfire in the woods in the summertime where you just want it for the fun, not the heat. So you got to drive past the ponderosa pine and then get to where there's fir trees. Douglas fir is a nice firewood. I like it. I usually burn it in 2x4 form when I get, the pieces, because that's what we use for lumber around here. And it's great then, but it's not great for, it's not the best for using big cordwood, but it's good. And then if you go further out and you look around, then you can find tamarack. And around here, tamarack is our best natural growing firewood. But you guys back east, you're lucky because you've got oak, ash, elm, and whatever else. You guys got all kinds of selection of great firewood. Man, I was in Texas and I'd see just trailer loads of all this amazing firewood, pecan. My mouth is watering. Not for pecans, but for the firewood. Alright, I'll go back to... Let's stay on the firewood topic. I burn everything. I do need ash to get through the extreme cold, though. You burn everything because you're in the land of nice firewood. I doubt you'd burn everything if you were here. We got a lot of crap here. Ancient Finns were good at utilizing birch. Okay, I'm gonna go through the firewood and then come back to the birch bark. Black oak, scrub oak, witch, burn. We have scrub oak around here, but it doesn't grow. We don't have enough of it that we can really go out and cut firewood. I tried, but if people were cutting the scrub oak here for firewood, cordwood, it'd be gone in a season, because we don't have high enough numbers. But that's interesting for California that you got so much. Oak, I would love. I'd just be thrilled if I had tons of. Yes, Casey. You see it listed on Marketplace, and it's legit. It is here because over 100 years ago, all the early people here were planting hardwood trees, so we do have it. But what they don't say in those ads is they call it a mix of hardwood, and those guys are all a bunch of scammers. They throw, it's like half or 2/3 of it's poplar, and most people can't tell the difference, so they just scam people, because we got a ton of poplar around here. And poplar, I won't even burn it. I've got some, I just threw it away. It wasn't even worth cutting and burning, even though it does burn fairly hot, but it burns really fast. But it's hard to split. So these guys, they throw poplar in, and then they tell you that it's a hardwood mix. And I always ask these guys, well, what do you mean it's a hardwood mix? Well, it's got some birch, some poplar. And I'm like, yeah. And then they charge the same price. I don't know what prices you've been seeing, but like $300 and $400 a cord around here is normal. And it's just a huge scam. So I just bypass those guys anyway. I just get it free when somebody has a tree cut down and they need it hauled off. The problem is you got to jump and run right away, or else other people get it. And so, elk smells. I don't mind the smell. To me, it's not the same. But also I barely even smell it. I smelled something that was burning the other day, but like I never really smell. I know people complain about the smell of certain woods, but oddly enough, I don't smell it. Western red cedar burns super hot but quick. Yeah, I love burning cedar, but some people need to be careful of the oil that cedar puts out and starts chimney fires. All right, Bryce. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Do I ever smoke meat? No, I don't, because for one, I don't like a heavy smoke smell. Two, it creates carcinogens that aren't really healthy for us. And I like a light smoke smell, or an apple smoke. I once got I think it was a hamburger or a steak that was apple smoked up in Wenatchee, and I remember it to this day because it was so good. But I did try smoking meat to see if it was in the summer, and I wanted to see if it would keep the flies off of it. But because to me, I'll just dry the meat. Drying is so simple. Just slice, put it out in the sun, and wait. And I've got smoked meat, in fact, I've got some right here. This is probably 4 years old now. Dried meat that I did. It's just dried. I think it's sheep. Yeah, this is sheep. I think. It's like probably 4 or 5 years old. It might be horse meat. It's 4 or 5 years old, and it's just fine. The only problem that I've ever run into is if you put it in a plastic container. It seems to be worse. It attracts beetles. But this is in a breathable breathable bag. I've had dried meat stick around for years in many cases, and it's always good. Some of the oaks we have grow 4 to 6 feet wide at the base. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I'm jealous of all you guys with hardwoods growing around you. 7 high so oak. Wow. 1.25. Yeah, that's incredible. Around here, our scrub oaks, I mean, you might find one that's 2 foot in diameter. A few of my camping videos are down in the, I call it the old oak grove, like from Tombstone, but seriously, it's like an oak grove. Really neat place. There's not a lot of diversity out here in the sagebrush, so when you find places like that, it's like an oasis. A lot of wood people buy is eucalyptus from off the mountain. It's oh my goodness. Well, you're in Southern California where prices are ridiculous. Haha, I remember that. Oh yeah. Thanks, Casey. Yeah, I think I did a video on it. I burned down my smoker. I had a hard time getting the smoke going too. That was tough. Alright. Han says, well, it could be that I just realized. Is your name pronounced Han? Like Han Solo? So is Han Solo a Finnish name? I mean, I'm sure it was made up, but... Well, it could be that Finnish scientists were the ones to discover it. I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong. I learned it in grade school. No, you're probably right. It's just that Native Americans apparently were chewing on it when white people showed up. But... Ancient Finns were good at utilizing birch, even making things like shoes and backpacks by weaving birch bark. Yeah, birch bark is phenomenal. Well, I don't have it here. I've got aspen. I wish it was birch instead of aspen. So I've used birch bark for fire starting, and it's nice. Craig Curtis watched the video on gunpowder. Chinese came up with it first. Yeah, it's fascinating. You can make gunpowder. It's not that difficult. I mean, it's involved, but it's not like it's something that you can make at home without having to be a scientist. I haven't done it, but Brody, that's something that'd be awesome if you did. Let's see, my godfather has a smoke sauna. My brothers smoke meat there every Christmas. Nice. Yeah, it'd be nice for making bacon. Do they make bacon also? Hane or Hani? I'm curious. I like pronunciations. Otzi, the Iceman's gear was birch and red osier dogwood. Oh, right. Was it twisted into cordage or was it bark? I remember his sandals, I think. I don't know. There's a few of those guys. Whew. Well, I certainly didn't expect to be discussing medical care. I've made some advances with solar power. Solar power is overly complicated, but it's extremely complicated, but also entry level is not too complicated to get into. But I was running, so 12 volt is key. I knew that, but I made some mistakes that I figured out recently. You see all that smoke coming out? I made some mistakes that I figured out, and so now I'm doing a lot better with my solar usage. Now the door's open, so I don't care. So I bypassed the inverters when I could, and as much as I could, and I'm running my Starlink on an inverter, but it's also got sun on the panels, so it should be fine. But anyway, there's nobody that really lays out solar power use well. Anyway, I won't go off on that too much because it'll just turn into a rant. Here's my fat dog. What's up, Maddie? She loves laying in the pathway, so I can't leave her. Well, look at that. Earlier it was really gloomy. Now it's just a beautiful day. Sunshine on the solar panels. I got 2 more solar panels over there, and I've got 2 more solar panels, but I need wire for it. My cozy little cabin that still needs a roof. And down here, I've still got snow, so it still feels like Christmas time. Now this wind might ruin the audio, and I'll have to go back inside. And I'm wearing my cowboy boots and walking on a hill, but I've laid some ash down so it's not too slippery. You guys might get to see me fall down. And over here's my, here, I'll block the microphone. Over there's my cabin that I need to remodel. So if anybody has construction skills and wants to come camp out, remodel with me. Okay, thanks, Casey. Appreciate that. And up there is where I saw the cougar the one time, when I was up there also. And I get deer walking through here. And for a while, I was getting a lot of coyotes, like tons, almost every night. Even as close as right there. Hard to tell distances in the video, but it was really close. I came out, saw him, because they were taunting my dog is what they're doing. They like seeing dogs out and taunting them out into the wild. But been noticing there's just no coyotes coming around lately. Makes me wonder if a hunter came out and killed them. I know a few guys were talking about it because we want to keep deer populations up. I don't like killing them, but I was ready to. I really wanted to get some night vision of some sort, but because that's when they come out, is at night. And you can also catch them in the daytime. So that's the status on wildlife around here. The elk aren't coming around. They generally come around late in the winter, like early spring. And then they're around during spring. It's fun when the elk are here. Maybe this year oh yeah, I've got a nice camera. I like following them around, go out hiking, walking around with them. Or if I've got a horse at that time, then I'll take my horse out and film them. I'm up in Washington State, a few hours from Seattle. Seattle's on the other side of the state. We call it the west side, and we call it the wet side because they get rain and clouds all the time. Oh, the fire looks nice, but it's smoking. Ah. There we go. That should stop the smoke. Yeah. I rarely get smoke out of the stove. That's a good part of it. All right. Well, I always forget stuff. Oh, I was cooking there for a little while for the video, and it's kind of a shame I stopped, but there's only so many breakfast foods that you can do, and since it's at the same time. But I got this popcorn popper. I've used it a few times, and it's fantastic. And I think it's also made out of tin. It seems to be. So I'm really excited about this thing. I should do a video on that. I once threw the extra kernels in the fire because I was curious if they would still pop. That got old really fast. They were popping out onto the floor constantly, and it took forever for them to all of them to get popped. Oh, smoking again. Anyway, cooking on fire is a lot of fun, for the most part. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll just bring this to a close. Oh, here's something else I could do is hot buttered rum. I made that for Christmas, but I want to get some. They make really good non-alcoholic alcohol these days. I want to get some good rum because I don't like drinking much. I care too much about my health and and addiction. I'm already addicted to coffee. I certainly don't need to be addicted to alcohol. But I like rum. Hot buttered rum is really good. So I need to find some good non-alcoholic rum. So anyway, that's the cooking lately. Christmassy, it was fun to have some hot buttered rum. Yeah. Yeah, even when we get sunshine, yesterday was sunny, but I was inside studying all day, filmmaking. I need to get out and enjoy it because even when it is sunny, it pretty much is gone by 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening now. Daylight, sunlight. So like it gets light here around 6:30 or 7, and then the sun sets like 4:30. But even then, you know, in the morning, the sun is so low that this morning it was cloud cover. So the sun didn't start coming out until I think I started this video. No, it was light before that. So maybe 8 o'clock. It might have been sunny at 8, but then I won't be surprised if it's cloudy by 3 o'clock. So it can be misleading. That's why it's important to get out and enjoy the sun while it's shining. Because who knows how long it's going to last, which is fun. Me and the dogs, I like walking up the hillside that I showed you guys and go up hiking there looking for tracks. Rarely ever see anything besides coyote tracks, but it's fun. It's like looking for the morning news, what animals came through here. And now that the snow's melted, I've got some muck boots coming in the mail, and I'll be glad to have those because I've been wearing tennis shoes, but these get my feet wet immediately if, you know, you step in one mud spot that's a little too deep, all of a sudden feet are soaked. So it'll be nice to get those muck boots. That's the problem with historical reenacting. They didn't have good footwear for being waterproof back then. Even if it existed, it wasn't very common. That to me, waterproof footwear is like the hardest thing. Which reminds me, I gotta go. I got some hair on deer hide, rawhide, and I was gonna make inserts out of those. Hot cider with rum is good too, Casey says. Yes, that's what I hear. I can't drink cider because I'm allergic to apples. It sucks. Next year, I still haven't used my dried elderberries because I got so few of them that I always get, I don't know, as soon as I use them, they're going to be gone. I'm going to rehydrate them. Maybe today I'll use them. Next year, I really want to get more elderberries. And in fact, Casey, I found big elderberries when I went to Montana. I think they were in Idaho where I found them. They were huge. So I want to get some real good elderberries. Around here, they just grow like the size of BBs. But cider. Oh, yeah, my point was adding fruit to rum is a good way to go. Cider with rum. Casey says, I'll be glad for longer days, dark here at 4. Yeah, I know. I like camping in the winter, but those long days, I've said that on my channel before. It's like you go out camping, and the main thing is gathering tons of firewood because you're going to be sitting by the fire for 4 hours before you fall asleep, 4 hours after I wake up. So, unless the person has really good lamps. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do. I need to do my modern minimal camp this winter. I forgot. I was focused on that for a little while. That way I can take headlamps, and I've got a minimal. like a bug out kind of a method that I want to practice. You guys, most of you guys know are familiar from my channel with that. Because then if I got headlamps, then I can still do stuff. Yeah, Casey, that's why I do like the desert. It's one of the reasons I like the desert. We get a little more sunshine than even if the sun's shining in the forest. I mean, the forest is awesome. And I like that view that you made. That made a huge difference. That was really nice. I imagine you're going to set up your home where you can take that in. Oh, yeah, Brody, if you want to come up and reenact and remodel with my house, I'll pay you. I'm not really looking forward to pulling down that drywall ceiling that's soaked in rat piss, but I certainly can do it. But having some inspiration, having somebody along would be nice. I missed your comment earlier on that. Good for water resistance. Not that I'm aware of. The only thing about moccasins is they'll dry soft if you do them right, but they just soak up the water really fast. I think the best deal would be using wool foot wraps, and maybe the deer inserts, the deer with the hair on for inserts, so that even though it gets wet, wool foot wraps might maintain enough heat that the feet wouldn't be really cold. I don't know, because even that cold water and that slush. My main thing is just cutting enough firewood and having enough food that I don't have to go anywhere. Something I'd like to reenact, though, Casey and Brody. I'd love to go into the forest sometime and reenact for like a week or 2 weeks. It would be awesome. Where there's heavy snow, and reenact the way the mountain men used to spend their winters, where they dig out a little bit on a hillside and then put a roof, do like a 3-sided cabin, and then have a huge fire out front. I'd love to reenact that as far as fur trade goes. Casey's kicking around the idea of making a seal gut parka. Yeah. Is it only the seal gut, or isn't the seal skin also waterproof? I don't remember, but I thought it would be great to get a seal hide and be able to make, I don't know, boot covers or something. Casey, elderberry, serviceberry. They were elderberry. The ones that I found, it was, and oddly enough, but we had that really warm fall. So it was November when I went to, I don't remember what town. It was up north around that touristy area up north of Missoula. And I went there early November, and it was raining like crazy. And on the way, I stopped to walk the dogs, get out, let them walk around. And that's where I found that elderberry tree. And like I say, they were like the size of marbles. Because like I say, the elderberries around here, they grow like the size of BBs. I've got an elderberry here on my property, and I'm going to try adding water to it this year, like constantly, and see if it'll grow better. And anyway, I was surprised. So I picked those elderberries that were right there by the road. It was a logging road that I was on. So I picked them. Hey, Outdoor Videos with Brad. It's not the same without you. Merry late Christmas. Glad you made it. Yeah, well, to me, it's just the Christmas season. To me, I know most people celebrate on Christmas, or not most. A lot of people celebrate on Christmas Eve. I don't. our family always celebrated Christmas Day, but to me, that just kicks off the Christmas season. So basically, for me, around New Year's is then when it really peters out. But like I was saying earlier, kind of petered out already for me. But I don't know. Maybe I'll watch a Christmas movie and try to stir up the Christmas spirit some more. Our family didn't really get together. My sister and her husband and their daughter came over, so we celebrated a little bit Christmas Eve. No, Christmas night. That was Christmas night. Similar to a lean-to. Yeah, so we're talking about the way there's a good, clear description, and probably more than one, where how the mountain men. I mean, it's a generalization, because first of all, there's different types of mountain men, but generally, guys like us focus on the. Not that I'm reenacting. These guys are actually putting together reenacting. Casey does a lot of it. I just learn about it, and the free trappers are primarily what a lot of us are interested in. And so they say that it was common, to build like a three-sided lean-to. So you dig into the hillside, which I like that because I always thought that if I went on alone, this is what I would do because of the grizzly bears. That terrifies me. But if you got a hillside for the back and basically the two sides, then a grizzly only has one entrance. And if you got a bear spray equipped with bear spray, then you could probably fend yourself off. Fend them off is what I'm saying. Protect yourself. But then I tried to dig out in the. I used to dig a lot. I worked construction and I was a grunt, and running a shovel was what I did a lot. And so I was very confident in my digging skills. But as some of you know, I've got this hillside out here where I'm trying to dig a cellar. And I realized, oh yeah, digging takes a lot of food. It takes a lot of food to keep myself going that active. Also, I'm not in my early 20s anymore like I was back then, mid-20s. And so I don't know if I went on. First off, I'm not even going to go on alone. If I was on alone, I think I would have to alter my plan from digging into a hillside. But anyway, they say that's how they spent a lot of times that's how they spent the winter. So they'd cut down logs and build like log sides and probably a log roof. And then the front was open, and that's where they would put huge logs, 6-foot long fire, I believe. And as you guys have seen, I've used my tarp tent as a reflector, and I can stay nice and warm with just a small fire a lot of times. It doesn't take much of a fire to keep warm, depending on the temps and how humid it is. But so anyway, multiple guys with an open-faced cabin and a huge fire. Be pretty cool to do. So anyway, Casey, you said that you're doing that on your property. That shouldn't surprise me one bit. I am going to come over. My dogs are old and it's easy to travel with them now. And I've got a fuel-efficient car. So as long as you don't mind. My dogs are easy too. I can just walk them a few times a day if it's not good to have them out. Just the gut. Oh, we're going back to the seal. Just the gut was used as far as I know. I found hog gut is very close to seal. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I need to make another post asking people if I can come get the remnants of their cattle slaughter and pig slaughters. I haven't done that for a while, but I never utilized the stomachs. I started thinking about it. Very late Christmas doll as well. That Mountain Man idea sounds great. What started your interest in Mountain Men? Mine was the Grizzly Adams show that ran in the 70s. Yeah, Grizzly Adams was awesome. I got into the Mountain Men. I have what I called my personal renaissance. I think I was 13 years old when I started. I think it kicked off. I'm trying to always remember this. I I read Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer, and I thought these people lived better than we did. That was a better life. So then I read the Laura Ingalls series, but it might have been Dances with Wolves first. Somewhere along the way, it was those three: Dances with Wolves, Laura Ingalls, and uh, Tom Sawyer books. They all kicked off this idea of me wanting to live the old way. And then, so how did Mountain Men come along? I probably just saw a movie, and well, yeah, in school we watched Jeremiah Johnson, and so I'm pretty sure when I got into my old historical stuff. Oh, I was at a gun show, and I was looking at a muzzleloader because I was a kid. I was like 14, 15. My mom would drop me off at the gun show and then come get me later. I'd spend hours there. So I was broke and young. I couldn't buy modern guns, and I liked old guns anyway, and they were cheaper. And so I bought this muzzle loader from a guy. It was one of those little Derringers, Brody 433 caliber, and that was my first muzzle loading gun. And this guy, he took it apart, put it together, took it apart, put it together while he was talking to me and telling me, see, I can't sell you this gun if it's all together. Then he took it apart. But if I take it apart and put it in this bag, it's a kit and I can sell it to you. But then if I put it together, and he put it together, and he did that, it was pretty cool. I realized later, I was like, oh, he did that so that I would see how to put it together. It was so cool because he knew that I was a kid and wanted to buy a gun and I couldn't. So without telling me, here's how you put it together, he just did it in front of me like 3 times as I watched him. And then finally he put it in the bag and he sold it to me for $25 for this kit gun. So I went home, put it back together because I watched him do it multiple times, and that was my first muzzleloading gun. Also, he told me about rendezvous, and so then I saw a sign for a turkey shoot, muzzleloading turkey shoot that our club was putting on. I didn't know anybody, but I called up and I went to that with my little pistol. And I got to shoot it for the first time there. And then, but they also, somebody let me use their rifle. And so that was fun. So that's how I got into Mountain Man stuff. But I was also always frustrated because, you know, I'm hardcore, obviously. I mean, the way I live and everything. And I wanted to like really be a mountain man. But in the rendezvous scene that I was in, the people were so cool. I'll always be grateful, always appreciate them, but they just weren't hardcore. Nobody was tanning hides. Nobody that I knew was going out and camping on their own. They would just kind of bring a bunch of chairs and beds, and people had air mattresses and saying, hey, as long as you cover it with wool, you're fine. You know, that kind of thing, which I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I was looking for. But then I got sidetracked because Tombstone came out, and then my friends were doing cowboy stuff. So instead of just hanging out with a bunch of old people, I found people my age, we did, and I got into cowboy stuff. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for asking. Casey, dogs are fine and welcome. Yeah, bring the horses. Yeah, if I can get another riding horse. There's a horse that I'm optimistic about for sale here in my area. There's another one that I'm optimistic about, but it's a 4.5 hour drive away down in Oregon. So I'm going to check out this horse. If he checks out and he's a good horse, then I'll buy him, and then I'll hopefully have a riding horse, and I won't be surprised by some kind of issues. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, my mare. Oh, I forgot I put this here. My mare is got a leg problem, so I can't ride her, and so I'm looking for a horse I can ride. So anyway, if I get that horse, it's a good rider, then and maybe I'll get my mare healed up, and then I'd have 2 riding horses, Casey, and I would love to bring them over. That would be sweet. I can throw together some kind of a mountain man outfit. It wouldn't be ideal, but I could throw something together so that I fit into the era. Oh, cool. Casey's gonna still putting that together. Yeah, Brody, are you able to drive up here? That would be sweet if we put together, the three of us put something together. Outdoor videos with Brad. My side of the mountain kind of got me started. I always liked the outdoors, and I remember my dad taking me hiking when I was little. I read Tom Sawyer in like middle school. Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is, so I loved My Side of the Mountain and Hatchet, and what else? Robinson Crusoe. Those are the books that we read in grade school. And funny thing was, one of my friends in fourth grade, when we were watching the Robinson Crusoe movie, the family, you know, it was a Disney movie, and the family, they landed and they all started praying. He told me, man, I wouldn't pray. I'd be running around that island exploring. He was really enthusiastic. And I thought to myself, huh, why don't I have that attitude? Not about prayer, but about being enthusiastic. Like he was, I think he's living that life now. Nobody knows what happened to that kid after high school. Everybody that I talked to from school is like, yeah, I don't know what happened to him. But I've heard stories that he went to South America or something. So he might be living that life. But anyway, in fourth grade, I don't know why I didn't really have that inclination. Now, the Boxcar Children, that one, when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, that's how I want to live. Because I loved the minimal living. Oh, also Where the Red Fern Grows. That one I really liked. As far as like internalized, like, oh, that's something I'd like to do. That's why I got a coonhound later. And Boxcar Children, yeah. I mean, I liked the minimal aspect of those, but for some reason it wasn't until I was in middle school that the idea of living old-fashioned really became my own, where I was internalized and was thinking about it all the time. So it wasn't until middle school for me, basically. But just about those books. I love that a lot of us, I'm against nationalized schooling, but it's pretty cool that we all have that similar history of reading the same books in school. It's funny that they read them to us because it made us all fed our independence, and the society is very against us being independent. I want to do audiobooks, and I don't remember if My Side of the Mountain is on open source, but I'd like to make some audiobooks for my channel, some of those cool books. Scott Brody says, my first muzzleloader is a Connecticut Arms 45 caliber precision cap. Yeah, that's awesome. So after, when I realized I needed a rifle, I was checking the classifieds. We had, you know, the classified newspaper back then, and I found one for $150. So I asked my old guy, I told him, hey, I found a Lyman 50 caliber Great Plains rifle. Have you ever heard of that? That's how ignorant I was. He said, yes, that's a good rifle. Buy that one. So me and my dad went and looked at it. I was only 15 at the time, I think. And these old boys, they were pig farmers, all wearing overalls, lived out in the country. And there was like 3 or 4 brothers, the mom and the dad. They're really nice folks. And anyway, they brought out this beautiful Lyman Great Plains rifle, and I paid them $150 for it. I've still got it. Excellent rifle. Like everybody said, they always told me that's a good rifle. So I just kind of lucked into a really good rifle myself. However, it's not right for fur trade, and that's the problem with that era. Like, why didn't he tell me, oh, you got to get a flintlock full stock rifle? But it's great for my 1860s impression because Pa Ingalls is part of my inspiration for that. And he did a lot of hunting, and he had a muzzleloader. And so that's what I have it for now. Outdoor videos with Brad. Nowadays, I feel like muzzle loading is more expensive. Yeah, I know. There's some really good guns that are for sale. I was looking at 1911s. I can't believe how easy it is to find a good quality one for $500. And then I've also thought about getting a little pocket revolver, modern. And it's amazing how cheap modern guns are. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Casey, you could outfit me. Yeah, that would be sweet. I do have some leggings. I think they're buckskin. I'm not sure. I might send you a picture of them. Outdoor videos with Brad. I forgot about Hatchet. I didn't read that, but I read Brian's Hunt. Yeah, Hatchet was awesome. Because, like I said, what I loved was like he crash landed, and he had like 3 items, and then he built up, like he found something and he utilized it. That's what I like. That's why I've always been so tempted to just throw away everything I have and just start new with like just a few items. And maybe I'll still do that. Problem is, this movie making requires a lot of. I had to beef up my solar power stuff. So I don't know. Brian's Hunt. I don't remember that one. I don't think we read it. Lee says, I've been working on a book taking place in the early days of the fur trapping and ending near the beginning of the Oregon Trail, where some mountain men became guides. Research has been fascinating. Yeah, a good one for that is Joe Meek, if you haven't had his book yet, because he did that. He was very active in the fur trade, and then that tanked, and he stayed out west in Oregon. He fought for the military, and I forget what else he did, but he'd be a great one for that research. Joe Meek. It's his own book, so it's easy to find. Outdoor videos with Brad. Hell, I forgot about Boxcar Kids. I remember a teacher reading that to us in like grade school. Yep, that's when we read it. It was grade school. I loved that one. I always had an interest in mountain men. Got actually into it when I came back from Alaska. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Lived on my trap line in the Continental Divide through winter in Montana. Oh, I forgot about that. Dude, I think you mentioned that before. I totally forgot about your experience doing that. That sounds incredible. That's the stuff I need to be doing. When my dogs pass away, I'm going to try to do more stuff. Yeah, they won't read those books now. Outdoor video is what Brad said that. Yeah. Yeah, they don't want us thinking independently now. Now they'll probably just have kids read books about how great the government is and how all their how these kids' problems are all solved when they got away from their parents and got taken in by the government. Brad says, I spent $150 on my bolt-action shotgun. Bolt-action shotgun. Does it have a tube or a magazine? When it comes to handguns, I always find that the smaller, the more money. I know the story, just never read it. Brian's Hunt is based on the same guy. Oh, okay. Was even better than Hatchet. Dang, my school robbed me. I never read Brian's Hunt. Ha! Casey lived it. Yeah, isn't that funny? That stuff makes a huge impression. It's a big deal what kids learn when they're young, because that's really stays with us as adults. Lots of studies on that. I won't go into it now. Maybe I'll talk about it on my other channel. Well, let's see. Today, maybe I'll let a horse loose. I've had him pinned up for a while. I let one horse loose at a time, because when I let them both loose, they took off for the hills. Freaking Comanche Moon, that was her doing. I went and I walked about a mile to go catch them and bring them back. Because, as you all know, in the past, I've left all my horses roaming around here. And then, so I thought I could let these two loose after a while, but nope. So I might let them loose today. They've been pinned up because it's been slippery outside. But now that everything's pretty much melted, I showed you guys the most snow that I have here. Everything else is just back to nature. In fact, it might even be warm enough they can eat grass. So I'll probably do that. I pulled that out, and hopefully that doesn't get me demonetized or get my video taken down. I used that to put down a pack rat. I've been trapping pack rats, and I couldn't kill the first one, but somebody came out, local hunter friend. I met him for the first time when he came out. We've been friends on Facebook for a while. He came out, and I asked him, "Hey, would you kill that thing for me?" So he didn't have a gun on him at the time. He left it in his other rig. I gave him my Glock, my 9mm, and he took it out with that. Did the job. And so then I caught another one that night, like a few hours later, had another one. So I put that one down with that pistol. He didn't want to use that one. I offered it. And then I caught a third one. But now, the first two came out of my cabin over here that I showed you guys. I can't cohabitate with pack rats. They're the reason that I have to remodel that place. And so I couldn't let them go. But now out here, I've got this, I've got 2 containers, and that's where I caught the third pack rat. But now that one was so sweet. So I went out there to put it down, and I pulled my gun. It was just like, it kind of, if I remember right, it even did this. It just looked at me with these eyes, so sweet. I thought, oh my gosh, all right, I can't do that. And then it occurred to me, wow, I'm not even using that stinking container anyway. I can let her live there. I think it was her. Hope she doesn't have babies. I'm going to clean it out soon. I'll find out if she's got babies. And anyway, so I let her go. Because maybe what I'll do with her is I'll trap her again and then put her in a big cage and make a pet out of her. But I don't know. I just couldn't bring myself on that one. But then I got the other container that I actually do use, and that's got a big rat in it. So I'll probably go trap that one. And then maybe be down to just one. Make sure she doesn't have any babies. That's the problem with being a sucker, guys. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Brad says, even back in the 1960s when they started getting rid of the country shows and showing the modern suburban world of the Brady Bunch. Yeah. Well, and then somebody might say, well, yeah, but they made Little House on the Prairie. I can't stand watching that show. And I hate to say that because we watched it as kids. My sister really liked it. You know, back then, when you're a kid, you'll watch whatever's on TV. And because we didn't have other options. And so we'd watch it. And I have appreciation for it. But now that I'm older and I've read the book series like 2 or 3 times, maybe twice, only twice, it's like, I can't believe what they did with this stupid show. Like Pa Ingalls was awesome. The way that she describes him in the story, I call him the patron saint of pioneering, because he was just the perfect man. And she probably exaggerated and left out, you know, it might have even been honest idealization of a daughter of her dad, because Laura was a daddy's girl. And he was always calm, always had the twinkle in his eye. I mean, he scolded her sometimes when she deserved it. And Ma was very stern. Oh, it pisses me off to watch that show and make that typical, oh, men are always doofuses and women are always saints. I mean, I love women. Moms are great. They're important, obviously. But that doesn't mean that you got to tear down men. And it just pisses me off how Michael Landon interpreted what he did with Pa Ingalls and the Ingalls family. Like, I watched this one where Pa was just outlandish in his being upset about everything and being irritated easy and scolding people. And Mom over there with this twinkle in her eye. Oh, don't mind him, Laura. Oh man, just pisses me off. Freaking. I don't know if Michael Landon had ill intentions, but you know, as I'm writing movies now, I've got multiple scripts that I'm writing and working on. It really is super easy to go right into those tropes. So that's why I'm not like being harsh on Michael Landon. I don't like hate. I don't know how typical it was. It's just it's the brainwashing of society, and we don't realize how deep it is within us until you start. I mean, try writing a story, and you might realize, oh my goodness, my go-to is all the tropes. Um, and then so I catch that, and I'm writing actual interesting stories, but hopefully I get to make some of them into movies. We'll see. All right, that was my rant on Little House on the Prairie. Let's see. Brad said, oh yeah, Brad got me off on that. Casey says, tons of grass on my place where I took out the trees. Deer are munching on the orchard grass. Nice. Yeah, that's what I look at when I travel, is how much grass there is. And in the forest, I was always surprised. There's tons of grass and a lot of forest. Brad says his bolt-action shotgun was mag-fed. Oh, you still have it. My dad has a tube-fed version, but the lifter is broken. Huh. That's cool. I have to teach you how I would have caught wood rats. Well, yeah, I thought about eating these, but one of these, the first pack rat that was killed, it's laying outside here because I let the dog grab it, and she's pretty proud of it. And after I think 1 or 2 days, I saw this big old grub looking thing crawling out of its skin. It was so disgusting. Because you know it's cold out, so it's not like the worms have taken over the animal. This came from inside of it, and I believe it was a botfly. It was a botfly larva crawling out of this poor little pack rat. It was so disgusting. Casey, oh, Brad says 87. Yeah, I thought it was good. I even made a video presentation for the class in high school. Oh, Casey 87 is your name. Whoops, looks different there where it's tagged. It was so good. I had to show it twice. Huh, that's awesome. I just mean that's when it started fading out. It was a real house in Kansas. The schoolhouse was fancy, and the post office, I was still standing. I saw the movie version of Little House on the Prairie is much better than the TV show. I absolutely agree with you on the TV series. Yeah, I might have started watching the movie. I tried watching something where they were all with family, and the setting that they gave them for it was supposed to be the cabin from Little House in the Big Woods, and the setting they had it on a hillside with all these little pencil-sized trees everywhere. It's like, oh, they really did not capture the setting. But then also the way that they left, it was just all so cheesy. I don't remember enough of it for you, and that's good. I don't want to remember any of that. Saw the movie version. It might have been the movie version, or it was the pilot. Yeah, if you haven't read the books, guys, well, it might be too late now as adults. I read it as a kid, so it brings back a lot of good memories. But if you just went into it as an adult, then it might be too much of a child's story. But I don't know. Maybe you'd enjoy it. I have no idea. That's another one that I want to do, audiobooks. The first book is going to be public domain. Maybe in a year or two? I forget which year. But then the next book isn't public domain for like 3 or 4 years later, if I remember right. So I don't know. It'll be hard to just do the first one and then wait. We'll see. We'll see. All right, folks. Well, I should probably call it quits now. It's been an hour and a half. It's been fun. Glad we had some good discussion going. Didn't know where we were going to go with it. I'm going to make another cup of coffee and figure out what to do for the day. Well, probably go out for a hike is what I'll do. Enjoy the sunshine. Let one of my horses out, like I said. All right, well, if there's no more questions and comments, then I'm going to bring this to an end. Thanks, everybody, for joining and input. Makes it fun. Talk to people around the world in some cases and definitely around the country. Yeah, glad you made it for the whole thing, Casey. Brad, glad you made it. Hope to see you all again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, remember, life's a lot more fun over on the wild side.